Palisade Center currently. But the minute they realize this is opened, the fact that they could save on sales tax, I can't imagine what the traffic is going to be like coming through town. I don't know if anyone from council has gone to any of the Paramus meetings, but I would hope that you would. And just, if they didn't like our DPW over there, I mean, what are they going to say now when Linwood Avenue is backed up? And I just went up Linwood Avenue the other day at 5:15 to go to the doctor's. I could not believe the traffic now. Mm-hmm. So with the opening of Costco, I mean, whoever thought of putting it there with Route 17 being the nightmare as it is. So I'm just asking if somehow, some way, I'll even go with anybody who wants to go. I'm not a proponent of going there. I know I go down to Teterboro, and that's a bad sight to begin with. We went down the other day and we turned around and we came back home. It's like, no, not going to do it. So I'm very nervous about what it's going to do with the traffic on Pascack and Linwood.
Thank you.
My last request is a minor one.
1 minute left, Mrs. Lipnick.
Sure. And that's just with the holiday season. As you plan for the tree lighting ceremony, could you put as many vendors at my curb in front of my house so that it's sort of a deterrent? Last year, we found quite a number of kids playing touch football on our front lawn, which okay, but they broke my lights. So I'm just asking, load it up and put as many vendors there.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about putting horses. Put the people there, block it up, and we'll be very happy. Okay?
Thank you, Mrs. Lipnick.
Good seeing you guys.
You too.
Can I just make
Yes.
a comment? I think I appreciate your comments about Costco coming in. Living on Van Emberg, I think that's just going to be a straight thoroughfare
Absolutely.
from, towns north of us. It's going to be a 7-day-a-week issue, especially on the weekends during the fall. With Demers Farms, it's already a nightmare. They back up from the lights, past Clark and up Van Emberg towards IHA. But I think the thing that I would say to you is you might want to revisit the discussions about the DPW at the Charlie Brown's, because a number of individuals who you're asking for help to go speak to Paramus and voice an opinion, voiced an opinion that Paramus should mind their own business and, worry about yourself, we'll worry about the township. So, it's sort of, karma's a bitch, as they say. And now where we, as a council, as a township, may want to voice our opinion, I think they have every right to say, screw you. We wanted something, we wanted our voice heard, and we were told after the fact that we're not interested in what you have to say. So, I think, I personally agree with you, but I feel that they'll be like, screw you, our residents and our officials came to you and you basically said, get the hell out.
Anything else?
Mike, can I respond to?
Sure.
About the parking in the fire lane, the police have stepped up their enforcement, but I will tell them on the weekends if they could keep a better eye. They just said in general, but I'll tell them on the weekends. Somewhat to what Councilman Ullman said about the Costco on 17. I hope they're not open on Sundays. I hope that's part of the blue law in Paramus. So.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. And perhaps maybe the council at least would want to pass a resolution showing opposition, because council does that on time to time. I think we did it like for a power plant in North Bergen and things like that. So maybe a simple reso just to show our opposition without actually attending a meeting. And as far as the tree lighting vendors, I'm sorry to hear that happened last year. Spoke to Sasha today. She was taking 1 or 2 days off and was going to start to plan tree lighting later this week, so I will certainly mention that to her. Sure. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience like to come up? Seeing no one, anyone else? No? Motion to close the public comment period.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ordinance, adoption, second reading, an ordinance number 24-18, an ordinance amending chapter 223, article 3 of the ordinances of the Township of Washington entitled Parking, Standing, and Stopping. Resolution number 24-338, authorizing second reading and opening a public hearing. Excuse me.
God bless you.
Bless you.
Public hearing for ordinance 24-18. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Roll call?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilman Oman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President DeSena,
Yes. Motion to close public hearing for ordinance number 24-18. Do I?
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilman Oman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President DeSena,
Yes. Motion to adopt ordinance number 24-18 at second reading by title. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it. Roll call?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Abstain.
Councilman Oman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President DeSena,
Yes. Introduction, first reading, ordinance number 24-19. An ordinance adding chapter 288, lighting outdoor, to the Township of Washington. Motion to introduce and pass ordinance number 24-19 at first reading by title. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it. Roll call?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilman Oman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President DeSena,
Yes. Resolution number 24-339, authorizing publication of ordinance number 24-19 and scheduling a public hearing. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilman Oman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President DeSena,
Yes. Resolutions consent agenda. The following items have been determined to have the unanimous consent of the council and will be enacted in one motion. Should any item require independent consideration, any council member may have such item removed from the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to have any of the items removed at this time? I would like 341 removed.
341.
Yeah.
I'm okay with you.
You good? Okay.
I'm good.
Resolution number 24-324, approval of the corrective action plan for the 2023 audit. Resolution number 24-340, authorized submission of Chapter 159 budget amendment for Community Energy Plan Grant 2024. Resolution number 24-342, authorized canceling of grant receivables and appropriated reserves. Resolution number 24-343, authorized canceling general capital funds, grant receivables, and improvement authorizations. Motion to approve consent agenda resolution as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilman Oman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President DeSena,
Yes. Resolution number 24-341, authorize the rescinding of a resolution authorizing refund of engineering escrow. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a
Second.
Discussion. Mr. DeCarlo, Mr. Mayor, so I know we've talked about this previously, Mr. DeCarlo, you weren't here for this, but in my previous life, the CFO of two of my municipalities would send me a kind of a thank you letter for conducting business in the town for the year of 2024. And if all my invoices were not received by December 31st, 2024, on January 31st, she was going to release all the engineering escrow money for any in it being held by the township at that time. And that's how it went on for almost 25 years. And I don't understand why our professionals can't get, payments in within, the entire year, and us keeping residents escrow money for long periods of time. Because what she would do is on January 31st, if I didn't respond back saying, hey, this project is still active, this project is still active, she would send back all the escrow money, Mr. Corcoran. And it would help the books because all that money would be gone, right? We didn't have to deal with it. The residents were happy because they got the refunds whether it was small or large, depending on the size of the project. But we didn't have any ability then to go back. Like if I didn't answer, that was it. I didn't get a jail free card. So I don't know if we could adopt something like that, because it worked very well. And, you know, you could talk to Mr. Vinci about it, because he knows exactly what I'm talking about, because he was he was the person in charge of all 3 towns. So, but if we could introduce something like that, I think it would help us, and it would clear a lot of, you know, get the residents their escrow money back quicker also, if there's any remaining. But it would also keep us on our toes where there's a shortage, right? Because it would identify within a 12-month period or a 3-month period or a 2-month period, depending on when the escrow is deposited, rather than, you know, 2-3 years later calling somebody and say, hey, you have no money left, but you want to close out your project, but you owe us $500 or you owe us $100. So just food for thought, if we can come up with some kind of policy, I think that would be a benefit to the residents and to our.
Hey, Council President, Senate, if I could,
Yeah.
in general, the escrow is a big project that we definitely have to work on. I know Joy and Grace have been working on that, but because I think it was put on the side for years, and it's, you know, changes have to be made with that. It's something I hope eventually does happen. It's definitely something that's been on our radar, but it's we have to get more proactive with that, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Senator, can I add to that, if you don't mind?
Sure, Cassie.
You know, the thing is, we have all these escrows for different things for our residents. And sometimes people really forget that they have money in escrow.
Correct.
Like I did an addition back in 2005, and when I got on council in 2011, I found out they were holding like $300. But, you know, people forget after a while. You know, can we put something
Well, that's why
somewhere?
she did it in a 12-month period. There was,
You know.
that would never happen, because she would release all the
Well, that's the
escrow
thing.
back.
It is there. It is the people's money, and if it's not used, you know, it should be returned to them as soon as possible. Again, we all forget that we have stuff out, so that would be a wonderful thing to do. I'm sure we have a few residents that probably have some dollars sitting in our bank. So I'd like to get back to the residents if we
Okay.
can. So, all right, thank you.
Roll call?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilman Oman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President DeSena.
Yes. Motion to adjourn to the conference agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next meeting of the Township Council will be on Monday, October 21st, 2024, beginning at 7 p.m. Sign up for Nixle, text 07676 to 2288877. Key code TWPBRGEN. Let's go to the conference agenda. I know it's, I see yellow, but I can't find it. There it is. Okay, administration, Clark Field infield rehabilitation project change order, Mr. DiCarlo.
Yes, very quickly, council had approved a resolution to, just like we were talking about before, Mr. Vinci, you guys awarded Field Pro Enterprises to come in and rehab the infields of 7 fields at 4 park locations. And the contractor was proposing an additional expense of $5,460 that I provided to you. It was for material and labor for additional work at Clark Field to correct the drainage problem there. So originally it was really to make the field safe and playable. Once he got there and started doing the work, he recommended the additional work to correct the drainage. And that's how you see the one thing that I provided for you. I wish I could tell you this work hasn't already started, but by the time I found out about it, it had started by the contractor. I did have a nice polite conversation as to the way we would have liked that to have gone better in a different order. And then also, if you look at the original invoice, there was the need for 3 extra containers to take away spoils from the locations on Cherry Field. So that was addition of 3 containers at $995 of $2,985, and the addition of $5,460, which came to just under a little bit of $8,500. I will have the money for it. Council approved the capital line for a total of $146,000. About 40 of that was going to be for the clay. We anticipate spending less than was needed on the clay, which will give us the allowable funds to pay for the additional work at Clark. I also told them, I need you to get over to Gardner and Memorial before I meet with council and determine and make sure there are not going to be any additional expenses once you get to those fields. I did speak to him myself today and assured that there will not be any additional incurred expenses when he gets to Memorial and Gardner Field later this month and in November. So again, at some point when we reconcile the final bill, you'll see an additional work, if okay, for Field Pro Enterprises for just under $8,500 for those two expenses, the extra containers and the extra drainage work at Clark Field.
Thank you.
So is this a change order or is this?
I mean, I'm using that terminology for, lack of better words. Usually when I see the change orders, it's, for major projects that involve either architects or engineers like the road program. But again, for a lack of better terms, since the resolution came before you as the council to approve the expense for the original encumbrance, which may have been like $106,000, I don't remember what it is. It'll now be over encumbered an additional amount, a little less than $8,500. So if this was like a $6,000 bill and it went to $7,000, something we didn't bring to the council, as long as I had the funds, we would just over encumber the purchase order. But here, the appropriate thing is to bring it back before the council so you know about it. So I guess, again, for lack of better terms, a change order is the best terminology.
But you anticipate the clay being less expensive?
We
Mark?
do, yeah. I reviewed that with Mr. Scudieri.
Okay.
May I?
Yes,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Sears.
Over the years, I've seen bids come in, and obviously this was a bid quote to do this. There's always $5,000 or $6 tagged on to this thing. Why was this not picked up in the original bid? I mean, it seems very funny that this many fields and it goes out to bid, and over the years, I've seen this come back. As they're doing the job, they tack on another $5,000, $8,000. I don't know how you can control this, but it just seems, put it this way, it seems odd. They come in and they do a bid and a quote, they look at the field, and then miraculously, they find this here or that there. It's $5,000, $6,000. So I don't know what the solution to this problem is.
I share your concern. So did Mr. Scudieri. We weren't happy about it, especially the order in which it was done. But again, it's a small business owner. He was concentrating on making the rehab safety oriented and playable. And then when he got to the field and brought in all his equipment, that's when he identified the drainage problem. So I think in the long run, yes, it's not what we would have liked. It will be to the benefit of the field for the future.
Thank you.
I agree with that, Mr. DiCarlo, that the end result is we have a better field, but, just sort of piling on Tom. I mean, should he absorb some of this, I guess is my question. Did we offer to split it with him? I mean,
I bartered with him with the containers. He didn't charge us for the work that it was removing the additional. Believe me, we had good conversation, and I wouldn't have brought this to council unless I thought it was an appropriate and responsible thing to do at this point.
So his pound of flesh is he loaded those containers at his goal?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, believe me, we had a very thorough conversation and, respectfully between him and I and Mr. Scudieri. But again, the work will be done. It's appropriate, it would be good work, but,
Okay.
I wish I could have controlled it from its inception, but unfortunately I wasn't given that option because we didn't know about it, So.
okay.
Community parking lot, Mrs. Wiskowski.
Well, it's that time of year again where we put it in front of the council, and now that we've got a commuter lot, it was asked a couple months ago how many people are taking advantage of it. We gave you a number and a list of about 7 people. And at that point, you said you might want to, some questions asked about, should we raise the fees? So what I've included in the packet since it is October, the current ordinance, the way it stands, I had surveyed a few towns and put it into a chart along with going out to the websites and showing you what they are charging. The administration had gone out and counted the spots. We have 24 spots for fire department and 29 spots for the commuter lot. And again, we only have about 7 people. And personally, I've done my 1-car parking on my occasion. So whatever you would like to do, if you want to have a discussion about it at the next meeting, on a conference, what you want to do after reviewing, whatever you'd like to do, you let me know and we'll just move forward if there's any changes.
Yeah, just a quick question. Mr. Mayor, are we doing drive-bys with the police on the lot? Are we doing a count? Who's there? Because we sold 7. Maybe there's 15 cars there. I don't know. I don't go that way. So are we doing like a survey or something like that?
Not to my knowledge, but I'll certainly ask them. I drive by it on a semi-regular basis. I have to say, even if there's 7 there on any given day, that's a lot. Yeah, but I'll ask them to drive through.
I can tell you that 3 is the max I've seen in that lot in 2 months.
I think you're right.
Well, if that's the case, we don't have 3 or
Not
4
too
vehicles.
much, yeah,
I don't
no.
think we really should raise it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we'll have no one.
Give the fire department more parking spots.
So very quickly, moving on, there was 3 emails sent to the entire council. One from a resident regarding the exit 168 light, which I said will be added to the next conference agenda. Mr. DiCarlo and I spoke today, and he will have an update on what's going on with that. The second email was regarding collecting sales tax on food. I advised the resident to reach out to the State of New Jersey Division of Taxation on whether it's valid to be applied because it's not the council's purview. And the third was regarding cars backfiring. It's very difficult to see, to know when these cars, these mufflers do cause backfiring. I know if you live on a county road, you may hear it more, but unfortunately the police are very limited because they have to witness it. They're not going to.
If you live on B Street,
If you live on Beach Street, you hear it all the time too,
Yeah.
Mr. Sears. You're absolutely right. So
Well, in Washington, any major road.
any major
town,
road,
Yeah.
I hear it, and it scares the
part of
heck
the
out
Motor Vehicle Commission.
It scares the heck out of people and dogs as well. I can attest to that. So,
That's just,
can
just so
we-
you know, I responded to all 3, and
let me ask council if can a citizen make a complaint if they get a license plate number on it?
that
or
would be
how does
something
that
we'd
work?
have to ask the
Well,
police.
let me ask
chief.
council first because she know.
Oh, you're saying
Yeah,
council.
Miss Council.
You meant this
No,
council.
our counselor,
Okay, there you
our
go.
legal, legal expert.
Yes, you can always go in and swear out a complaint. A resident has the right to, call for the enforcement of ordinances by that procedure.
Okay. So if you witness someone on a regular basis, get their license plate number, and
Okay,
You can
I'll
take- you can
let the
take order.
resident know.
let the resident know.
All right.
Might just, I did answer that person about the exit 168 late this afternoon.
I saw your
copied
response.
all the council
But
on
like
it.
I copied you on the
Yeah,
original email.
no,
'cause
thank
weren't
you, I
copied,
appreciate
so.
that, yep.
All right. Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second?
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
All right.